So good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be going over the transition from DocuSign to Adobe Sign. My name is Robert Howard, and I'm the Deputy CIO here at UAB. Next slide. Let's go over what we're going to talk about. All right, so introduction, the timeline of the transition, and then how to use Adobe Sign, and then the wrap up and questions with that. Let's go on to the next slide. All right, so 2020 has been an interesting year for us, and why on earth are we looking at transitioning a system at this point in time? Well, that's because even before the pandemic, our DocuSign pricing went up. They exited their Internet 2 agreement with us, which gave us really favorable pricing for that, and so that created a time when we were trying to negotiate with them anyway. But then the pandemic happened, and our budgets, we had to budget things to talk about. And at that point in time, it represented about an $85,000 increase to us. And so we really had to figure out something to do with that. And with our relationship with Adobe, we were able to transition to Adobe Sign and save us money, about $85,000 a year savings, which is about $215,000 over the course of the 5-year contract for that. Now, if you look at this, what we're really wanting to tell you is why we transitioned, and then I want to assure you that we're going to be there with you, helping you transition. And our goal for transitioning this is by December 1st. Our official DocuSign contract officially ends January 15th of 21, but we want to get it taken care of by December 1st so that we can take care of any bumps if we have them, realizing the holiday season is upon us, and then do that final bit of decommissioning to get all the data out of our DocuSign lockers, et cetera, by the January 15th deadline for that. Some of the benefits that we've got with going with Adobe, the just general workflow and signature process is very similar, but they also are covering our healthcare system operations, which will be a separate process that they will adopt as they choose to with that, but it does cover them. It also has a BAA, which is a business associate agreement, which covers sort of HIPAA and PHI. So that's a new thing for us that we can use, which will be useful to UAB. And then it has other classifications that can be used for secure purposes with that. It integrates with ESM and Salesforce. The Salesforce integration with DocuSign would have been an additional cost to us as well, and more we're relying upon Salesforce to do things here at UAB. So that's the why. The when is by December 1st, and I want to ensure we have some high volume users at UAB, and we're going to reach out and work with you one-on-one to make sure that your experience is smooth with the transition. We're here doing this with you, and I'm going to turn it over to Nick to talk about more details about this. And if you have any questions, please use the chat feature to do that, as well as after this event, if you have questions, please work through the help desk to get them. So thank you for that. Nick, take it away.
Thanks, Robert. We'll go to the next slide. All right, so starting today, what we're asking everybody to do is start working with your teams to identify all your current processes and templates in DocuSign. By doing this, this allows us to better help you with the transition process. If once you get the transition process done, once you identify everything, when we have a meeting scheduled, we can go through those processes and templates and figure out what's the best way to move them over into Adobe Sign. As well as once you have all your templates and processes documented, please go ahead and reach out to us and schedule a meeting with us that works best for your team. If we haven't heard by you by October 9th, we will just do the courtesy and reach out to you and schedule them. And like Robert said, any of our academic and business units that are high volume, you don't have to worry about that date. We will reach out to you directly because we know you'll have a lot of signatures processes out there, so we'll handle a lot of that for you. In these meetings, we'll discuss more what those are in the next slide, but we're going to use that to discuss your DocuSign processes, your training, And lastly, how to get your documents that you already have in DocuSign that are signed out into a UAB approved system, like as in a OneDrive, UAB Drive, or whatever approved system you'll have on for your team. And as well as, like Robert said, January 15th is the last day to access and download any of your documents from DocuSign, because that is our contract end date. That will be the last day to access the system. Please let us know if you have any issue before, at least 2 weeks before January 15th, if you're having trouble downloading. But like I said, we will work with you to get all that downloaded. So that is a key, a very important date, is January 15th, as well as the December 1st will be our last day to train and assist everybody with not our last day, but it will be our last scheduled training. Anything after that, we'll still work with you and help get you moved over as much as possible. So as I said, this is our transition checklist. What we're going to do in each of these meetings, we're going to we're going to identify your DocuSign templates, your processes, what you're doing in DocuSign. If there's ways we can make it better within Adobe Sign, we're going to do all that in this first meeting. Then we're going to train you around the basic usage of Adobe Sign, get everything going that can get you started off. And as anything we identify in that process, we'll train you on those other processes that Adobe Sign has, the Mega Sign, workflows, things like that, that makes your job easier, and it just keeps your day-to-day going. As well as if you have any templates or existing processes in DocuSign, we're going to help you convert those over into Adobe Sign. So don't worry about that. We're here to help you on that part. But like I said, any of these items that you have that are workflows, web forms, templates, we'll provide you the advanced training on how to do those and how to create those. So do not worry. We're here to help. And then lastly, we're going to set up a plan on how to download and archive all your signed DocuSign envelopes, so that everything you have in DocuSign is saved somewhere locally that you can access and your team can access. Sorry about that. All right. So this is our, just a more in detailed, slide for our transition timeline for Adobe. Starting in September right now, what we're asking is, identify your processes internally for teams, schedule your trainings with us so that we can go ahead and, start working with you directly. And then we're going to start a weekly webinar starting next week to show you just different basic pieces of Adobe Sign. So we're just sending a signature, how to create a web form, how to create a workflow, things like that, so that, even if you can't join your meeting with your team, or you just want to learn something new with Adobe Sign, we're going to have these webinars weekly up until November 3rd, so that you can get some more out of Adobe Sign. We can train you just on these webinars. October, it's going to be the same. We're going to continue on with these scheduled team trainings and migrations, continue with weekly webinars. October, we know October is fiscal year in for the campus. So if you're having trouble with any of these dates or anything like that, go ahead and let us know. We can schedule you something in November, whatever works best for your team. November, again, we're still going through the team trainings and migrations, and we're going to have our last scheduled weekly webinar on November 3rd. And so that will allow us, to still focus on the remaining parts of the training for teams that haven't had their training. December, we'll be focusing on the actual downloading and archiving your signed DocuSign envelopes. That way we get all the information downloaded. We have a tool that will help download and migrate for you instead of you having to do a one-to-one download. So just let us know. When we're in our meetings, we'll discuss that and how to use it, and we'll assist you in that using it. And then January 15th, DocuSign will be officially decommissioned. We will be shutting off access on January 15th and closing and shutting it off and making sure everything is off, and then handing it back over to DocuSign on that part. So here's how to access Adobe Sign. You can go to two different places to access it. If you go to uab.edu /esignature, sorry, I just noticed that as a typo there, but it's uab.edu /esignature, and that will get you to the esignature page to allow you to view all things around the e-signature portal, around Adobe Sign training, and access to Adobe Sign. To access Adobe Sign directly, you can just go to uab.edu/Adobe Sign. And I like to mention everybody that has DocuSign now, and actually anybody that has Adobe Acrobat assigned to you, so which is technically the entire UAB campus, has access to Adobe Sign today. So you don't have to worry about submitting a request. If you try to log in and it's giving you an error, please submit a request at uab.edu tech help, and we'll be glad to assist you getting access and getting you signed in. So what I'm going to do now, just to kind of show everybody what it's like with Adobe Sign, is do a quick demo of just sending a quick signature, and we will go from there. So I have Adobe Sign pulled up. I've already signed in. This is what the Adobe Sign webpage looks like. It's request signatures. You can start from a library if you have templates, fill and sign a document, publish web forms. We'll talk more about these later in your trainings and what works best for your team. But today I'm just going to click a request signature, and it's going to pull up the request a signature page. The recipient, I'm going to put my name in here so I can send there. And if you need more people, you can add them in there. You can carbon copy people there. You can, in the message agreement, you can put anything you want in the message here to change it. You're not required to, but if you want to put a more personalized note, you can do that. So if you have the documents, it can take PDF, Word documents, Excel documents, things like that. You can just drag and drop where you click the Add File option. If you have a completion date and deadline where you want to get it done within a certain amount of days, you can select these options here. You can password protect it, put the password in. But I'm not going to do that. Right here is this is the preview and add signature fields. This is the option where you can go in and drop your signature, your add dates, and things like that for the actual document. Once you do that, click next. And this is what it looks like when you pull it up with the Adobe Sign. This is just a fake test contract. And over here you have your recipients of who's going to actually get the contract and sign. You have the UAB signature, which is the account I'm on, and then there's the person who's signing it, which will be me. And what you do is you just go over here to your options. You have your signature field, which is your signature, digital signature, initial, signature block. Every time you'll use with us right now is your signature. And then you under here you have your signer info fields, your title, company name. It's just the same thing as DocuSign, just with different names of how it is. But all your options and fields are right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send over the signature, put the signature here, put my name here, and then put the date here. And so just a simple, drag and drop for this. And once you're done, you can just go ahead and click send. And then it'll send. And so it's successfully sent to the user. Let me see, I'll go ahead and pull up the email to show. And what it looks like when the user gets the email, it'll come from an email like this: signature requested on Adobe Sign test contract. And it'll show your account name, then echo sign at echo sign, which is Adobe's account. And you just click on it, and the user who sent it and signed it will just click on it. And you just click to sign. Very simple, just as similar to DocuSign process, and it's all done. Back to the PowerPoint. So, like I said, that was just the basic run through of Adobe Sign. There is more to Adobe Sign than just sending a signature. There's things that you can do in there to allow for to automate your processes with workflows, web forms. And so, like with web forms, this is an option to allow you, if you have a standard form that you want to put out to your students or to your employees, that just here's a form that you need to submit to do this, and it's just a standard form from the signer to you. It's a perfect form. It's a a link that stays there forever. You can embed it into your websites that allow you to just to send a one-to-one person. The dynamic workflows, we ask that you request help from the eSignature team that we can walk you through this process. Dynamic workflows allows the signer to depict who the next actual signer is in the workflow. For example, the telecommunication agreement that we just had to sign with HR, this would have been that process where I had to put in my manager's name and go in from there. So that's what you would do with dynamic workflows. Bulk sending, if you have to send more than 5 agreements to people, we have the mega sign option where you upload your actual list of signers and you can put it towards the actual template and send it out to thousands of people if needed. We also have within Adobe Sign, we have Adobe Sign groups, which allows you to manage your teams. If you want to see, if you're a manager of your team and you need to have your own personalized group so you can see forms that were sent out, we have those options. As well as with Adobe Sign, this is approved for 21 CFR Part 11, which is great, huge for research. Allows for integration with Salesforce as well as other systems. Just please reach out to us and we'll be glad to look and see if there's an API ready for it to be integrated, and we'll be glad to assist with that transition. So before we get to the questions, I just want to say thank you again for attending. I know there's going to be a lot of questions out there, so we can go back to the slides and anything we have questions for. I just wanted to get through this first because there's probably going to be a lot of questions to talk through. But these are the key dates to remember. January 15th is the last day to download and archive signed DocuSign envelopes. By October 9th, please schedule your meetings with us. If not, like I said, we'll reach out to your teams and schedule them with you. And then the last day to send signatures in DocuSign is December 1st. Now, that's the last day to send. We ask, if at all possible, please go ahead and start using Adobe Sign today. And the reason why is that allows you to start learning the process. If you have questions, you can learn it and get an idea how it works. If you have you have a large send that you need to send out, please use Adobe Sign, and we'll be glad to assist you with a process, the project to get that sent out to users, employees, things like that. So that'll really help the campus out and the university out if you go ahead and start using Adobe Sign today for all your signature processes. But like I said, if you have a process going in DocuSign today, just continue going with it within DocuSign. But if you have something new, please use Adobe Sign. And then with that, we're going to go to the questions. And Avis,
Yes, our first question is from Crystal Moore. She wants to know, do you have a list of the webinar schedule that we can circulate?
So, Crystal, we are actually working on that this week. We will be getting that out. It's going to be every Tuesday. I think the time is going to be at 1 o'clock every Tuesday. We'll send that out. We'll put it on the UAB calendar, as well as send an invite out to, just like we did with this last process, and we'll send it out that way. But we'll have that out. Hopefully, I think we're going to start sending it out tomorrow. We just got to get registered with the webinars. We were making sure we weren't coinciding with other webinars scheduled.
The next question is from Amber O'Connor. She actually have 2 questions. Will there be 2 levels of users again, signers and creators? And, well, she has a 3-part question. So I'll allow you to answer that one first.
So with DocuSign, there was 2 levels of signers and creators. With Adobe Sign, everybody has access to create. Now there is a second level that's called the group admin that gives you more processes to do the workflows, which allows the dynamic workflow piece. So if you need that, please let us know and we can get you set up with the dynamic workflows, because that is specific to group admins.
Okay, will current creators have create access automatically?
That's just everybody has access to sign, send, create as of today. So there's no create or sign process.
Her last question is, will users be downloading, will users be doing the downloads and saving, or will help desk do that for all DocuSign envelopes for all users automatically?
So we're gonna try to do it per team, because the reason why we can do it per team is you can actually download it and put it into a file your team has access to. We at the end, if we see the need that we just need to do a big download, we'll see if the tool allows that. But realistically, the tool is specific to your team's access and your individual access. We'll distribute that tool within the team trainings, but we're really wanting the team to download it so they can upload it to their approved team site. But like I said, we're going to help you on that. There's no, we're not going to say, here's a tool and use it. We're going to walk you through it. We're going to talk about that more in our individual meetings, but that's where we're at.
Audrey Wynn, question is, I have bulk DocuSign project with an October deadline. Should I use Adobe Sign instead?
Audrey, I'm going to reach out to you directly. I'll discuss that with you to see how big that DocuSign project is. If it's large, yes, let's please use Adobe Sign, but I'll work with you directly and we can get that set up if that's needed. I'll reach out to you for this meeting, okay, Audrey?
An anonymous attendee says, can you make the view size larger? We can't really see the documents you are demonstrating. And I think that goes along with another question from someone that asked, will you share this PowerPoint presentation that we just went over?
Yes, sorry that you couldn't see the on the view size. Apologize on that. I will. I'll send out the document, the Zoom PowerPoint to everybody on the call, as well as send it back to everyone we emailed. I apologize again that the size was small. And then as far as, yes, we will send out this PowerPoint for people to view and the webinar.
David Evans wants to know, where does the signed document end up?
So the signed document ends up with within Adobe Sign. After you sign it, you also, the signer and the person who sent it for signature will get a copy in their email. You can then, excuse me, let me get a drink. You can then download it to your team's, whatever your preferred team's site is to save documents.
Okay, Denise Shaw wants to know, will the weekly webinars be recorded and will they be accessible to review later?
Yes, they will. They will be recorded and we'll put them out on the uab.edu/esignature site.
Okay, we have a question from Catherine Crow. What is the best way for me and my team to be trained on how to integrate Adobe Sign into our current PDF packet process, especially the web form piece? We don't use DocuSign and we'll be starting from scratch with Adobe Sign.
Catherine, what I'll do is I'll reach out to you directly after this meeting. We can get a meeting scheduled and we'll get working with you to get that process started.
Jerry McCurry, how do we schedule a meeting for training and will the training be a Zoom meeting?
So you can request a training. By requesting a training, you can go to uab.edu/esignature and click, there's a link to request esignature help, and that'll redirect you to the UAB IT help page with tech help on the ServiceNow process. Just fill out that ServiceNow form and then send it our way, and it'll come to us in a it'll come to us within ServiceNow, and then we'll reach out to you and schedule the meeting. And we'll ask you a couple meeting times that works best for your team, and we'll schedule from there.
Angela, and I don't want to mess your name up, but it's Schmeckenbeyer, ask, who do we contact to set up training in October? And I think you've already answered that. But her second question is, most in my area weren't even using Document yet.
So yeah, so if your area hasn't been using DocuSign before, please just reach out to us through, just like I said, go to uab.edu/esignature, request assistance, and we'll be glad to get you scheduled and get you going in Adobe Sign. This is, like I said, this is available to everybody. And I'm not actually going to answer a question, Davis, I see here. It's the anonymous attendee. Can UAB Medicine employees use this also? Yes, you can. Now, what we're doing with UAB Medicine employees is that we're doing a two-phase approach. We're focusing on the campus on phase one because we do have a deadline to be off of it by January 15th. We're working with UAB Medicine's IT teams directly. We're going to reach out to them after we get done with phase 1 and start working with them to get everything moved over. If you have an immediate need, please reach out to me, and then we can work with the HSIS team to see if it's approved to go ahead and move forward. But yes, it will be available to the HSIS teams and medicine employees.
Okay, the next question is from Jamie Lewis. Will Adobe Sign auto-populate various fields like email address, name, like DocuSign?
So that it will. There's 2 different ways to do that. There is a Outlook add-in, and then you can also do it through the Adobe Acrobat application. But in the web portal right now, it does not have that automatic integration where it'll populate the emails. But if you do it through Outlook or through the Adobe Acrobat application, it will populate those. But that is a feature we're working with Adobe to get added in the web form. Now, the benefit there is if you do send someone a document previously, it will save it for future use. So if, like, for example, where it just popped up with when I was doing the e-signature example, it had my email already saved there because I have sent it to me previously. So it will save anything that you sent previously.
The next question is from Nicole Culture. Can you send personalized emails via Adobe Sign to individual signers similar to DocuSign?
Yeah, that was that option there, like where it had the enter your message and your subject line. That's where you can submit the personalized messages to your signers.
Jamie White says, remind us about templates.
So with the templates, that's where you have a standard form that you send out to users, and allows you, it's just a constantly reuse it with the templates.
Julie wants to know, will it be possible to view and record versions of the meeting? Several of my people have meetings during that time, Tuesday at 1.
Yes, we will. This will be available at the uab.edu/esignature page, where we'll save these webinars with a link to it.
Philip Cotton wants to know, when I log into Adobe Sign, it indicates my account is a personal account. Is that correct?
No, you need to reach out to us. There is an issue with that. That means you've had an Adobe Sign account before we actually had an agreement. That's a good question. If you log in and it's saying you don't have access to Adobe Sign or it's a personal account, please reach out to us. We have to work with Adobe. You should also have gotten an email from Adobe that says, please convert this from a personal account to a enterprise account. If you didn't get that email, please take a request to us, and we will work with Adobe to get those handled on the back end.
Okay, the next question is from an anonymous attendee. Can you demonstrate what the completed sign document looks like using the example you created?
Yep, let me pull it up. Let's see here. So that's what it looks like right there. Let me see if I can make it. So it shows you the electronic sign date. It has your signature, your name. All right, next question.
The next question is from S. Whiteman. Can you show us Adobe equivalent of DocuSign's envelope completion doc for audit compliance? Where, when, how, sign, etc. You want me to read that again?
Okay, so let me pull this up. Make this bigger for people to see. So right here within Adobe Sign, and we'll discuss this more with individual trainings, but while we're here, we have it. You just go to the actual manage, where you manage your agreements, you click completed, you find it, you click download audit report. And this shows you your audit report, similar to DocuSign. There's also, with that, there's more pieces to the compliance piece that lets you sign in with the Part 11 compliance and pieces like that has a more audit, has a more strict audit pieces for like research and patient data.
The next question is from James Irwin. We're new to eSignature. Can documents be sent to people outside of UAB for eSignature?
Yes, they can. If they're for UAB purposes, yes, they can be sent.
An anonymous attendee, how do we set up a signing order in Adobe Sign?
So there's two different ways to do that. There's just, if you're in your standard, let me just pull this back up. There's a workflows you can create. If like you have a standard workflow where after you have it with a template, you can create that workflow, but just on a basic request signature, you can actually just type in people's names and it will go there, and you can click the signing order here. You can move them around. You can have, like, if you want one and two people to sign at the same time, switch around the signing orders. You can have it complete in any order, where if you don't care what time, if who completes at any time, you can do that option. But there's these options. If, for example, if you just want to be an approver, you can just select that option. But like I said, we'll discuss this more on a one-to-one training. So don't feel like this is the training on this. We'll discuss this in more detail when we actually get to those trainings.
Donna Miller wants to know, will Adobe Sign give you the choice of different fonts for signature like DocuSign? Will Adobe Sign give you the choice of different fonts of your signature like DocuSign?
So with Adobe Sign, you can actually with the font piece, you can actually upload your signature. You can actually sign your signature, take a picture of it, and then upload it that way, where you can draw it. Whereas with DocuSign, you had that you can type the different fonts. There was that, but if it's just that you open up the email, it's just going to use that standard font every time.
Tracy Odom wants to know, will it matter if we use uab.edu or uabmc.edu email addresses?
Whatever your Blazer ID is, how you sign in to Adobe Sign. So if your whatever your actual Blazer ID is, that's how you sign in to Adobe. Same way with anything you sign into Adobe Creative Cloud or Adobe Acrobat, it's the same process to sign in.
Nick, let me say something about that real quick. I think that's the question about from the UABMC components. We have more discussion if it's on the healthcare side on how that's adopted.
Okay.
I think that was that question for that. So I'm not sure. We need to figure that out. If you're currently using DocuSign, I think it would work in that same fashion. So if you're signing in currently with UABMC, then I'm assuming that it would. We're looking for that transition to be to have parity there. But if this is a new thing representing the health system, that's just a further conversation. But we're happy to have it.
Thank you, Robert. An anonymous attendee wants to know, how long will the team trainings last?
So that depends on, we typically schedule for an hour, and it'll all depend on your actual, that discovery part. Like if you already have a DocuSign presence, we'll look at what it will take to move everything over. And we'll, if it's determined that we need to have multiple meetings, we'll schedule multiple meetings with you. If we decide we need to say, hey, let's schedule this for a 2-hour meeting just to get everything knocked out, But what I would like to do is I'd like to keep it at a max an hour for every meeting, and then schedule other meetings. That way, it'll help retain the information. But that's entirely up to your team, what works best for your team. And when we get to those, we'll determine from there. But the first initial meetings we'll typically schedule for an hour.
Okay, an anonymous attendee wants to know, can we save items to our school server from DocuSign?
So if it's long as the UAB approved file storage, things like that, you can save it there. I will leave that up to your actual teams where to save it. As long as it's a UAB approved and secure file storage.
Okay. Kenneth Donner wants to know, when you're in DocuSign, are you able to sign documents for other users or just yourself? Such as, can documents on behalf of my manager or staff?
Yes, you can set up delegation. You can also share your accounts with others that you have that you approve to share it with to sign that way.
An anonymous attendee has a template question. Will I need to manually create OSP extramural support checklist as a form for us to complete and route, or will these types of common forms be made available to us automatically? And if so, can I save partially completed copy template and update as needed for each use?
So if it's a template to, if it's template in DocuSign that's available to everybody, we're going to work on, like, with ourselves to actually convert those over. If it's a new template, we'll need to work with you to create that template. And if we need to decide that, it only needs to be available to your team, or if it needs to be available to everybody. And as well as you can save a partially created template. It has a save feature, as well as if you want to lock it down, whoever creates it can edit that template from moving on.
Okay, Kenneth Donner has another question. How can that be set up, and how can documents be added to the template field that are not listed?
Can you repeat that question?
How can that be set up? His original question was, when you're in DocuSign, can you sign for others? Well, his next question was, how can that be set up, and how can documents be added to the template field that are not listed?
So we'll get into more details with that, but there's this share my account option where you can actually share this account to the different users. You just add it, and you can go in and type the email address for that user to share your account with, so they can see. And when you go to the manage field, I don't think we have this up where yet. There will be right here on this agreements drop down. You can see everybody, all the documents that are saved or sent for the users you're shared with.
Okay, the next question is from Marilyn. DocuSign includes a share with me section of templates that can be used by anyone across campus. Will Adobe Sign have this feature?
Yes, and so these are templates that are out there now that are already shared. When you create a template, I don't know if you have these shared templates, and you have your own templates there. But when you're creating a reusable template, you can go over here. You can say who can use this template. You can say only yourself, or anyone in your group, or anyone in UAB. So those are your options there.
Walisha Austin question is, I currently use Adobe Acrobat DC to create, alter, and sign documents, and have never used DocuSign. Should I start using Adobe Sign?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to continue using your process, if it works for you, it sounds like if you're signing those documents on your own, you can continue doing that. With Adobe Acrobat, with the integration, there is a option to click fill and sign. You can actually go here, and this is where, this form's locked, so you can't, but you would have to sign yourself, or you could click request signatures, and that would pull up the Adobe Sign portal within Acrobat to send the signatures.
Okay, the next question is from Tracy Oden. I am hearing several conversations talking over each other, so I am not sure I heard the answer. Will it matter if you send the email to uab.edu or uabmc.edu?
If you're sending it for signature, no. So it'll go to that person's email address and allow them to sign that way.
The next question is from Jonathan Miller. How does delegation work with Part 11 compliance?
Let me get back to you on that one. That's a new one to me on that one. Is Shafiq on the call?
No.
I don't think.
I'm here. I actually don't know the answer to that either. And Jonathan, we can get back to you on that one if that's okay.
Okay, so anonymous attendee asks, so the preferred method of training is in a team format and not individual, correct? Such as all members of a student services office.
So if they're all going to be doing the same type of format, like sending out documents or actual the same process, let's do it in a team format. But we'll be glad if needed, if there's someone needs extra time training, we'll be glad to schedule a one-on-one session with those users.
Okay. Conley Carr, how do you create teams for your department?
So that's a request you need to submit to the eSignature team through ServiceNow. We will create the teams, and then we'll make who you ask to be the team admin, the group admin, and then you can go in there and add users to your group.
Okay. The last question is from S. Whiteman. When sharing document templates with my group, how is my group defined? By Active Directory or a separate grouping?
It's a separate grouping. It's a service, Adobe Sign groups that are created manually. Just like with the last question, if you need a group created, just let us know and we'll get the group created and make you the group admin to allow you to add users to it. We do have a bunch of already preset groups already for teams that we've already set up in Adobe Sign. When we create the group, we'll also just check, make sure you're not already in a group, because if you can't be in more than one group at a time. So that's just one thing to be aware of on that part.
Okay, Nick, do you have a couple of more seconds? I had a couple of more questions to come in.
Yeah, oh no, we're here till 10 o'clock, so.
Okay. Holly Simpson wants to know, if the document contains PHI, can it still be sent to a uab.edu email address and be considered secure?
So Adobe Sign is approved for PHI use. The document, so that, I don't see why, but Robert, do you think any issues with that, with it being, with it's all going to be handled in the actual Adobe Sign process? I don't.
So again, this is where we need to make sure that we are talking with our information security folks, both on the campus and healthcare side. So if it's an existing use case, it should be similar. So if you've been doing this already in DocuSign, this is about the migration and transition as we branch out into the new features with some of these newer, the fact that we have the ability to do restricted data types. We're going to have to explore that use case, and the system has the technical ability to do that. However, there's still some internal approval processes that need to be worked out for that. So I think there's opportunity to do that, yes, but we've got to get sort of the internal parts worked out. And we probably need to think about, and this may be toward the end part as we've already done the migration, we need to begin, maybe do some the webinars and training once we've worked those details out with our colleagues over on the healthcare side. And again, that's a non-answer, but we need to investigate that, but I don't think we've got the answer to that specifically now.
Okay. I'm going to give you these last two questions. One is from Mary Frances Spittler. If there are no signer creator designations, I guess I said that right. I don't think I did. But how will you ensure that standard UAB forms are created and shared in a correct and uniform way? In DocuSign, creators prevented random people across campus from changing these standard forms. Will that be a feature in Adobe Sign?
So that's not a feature, but you can to share with the entire campus and things like that. Those forms will be available there. I'll look and see about the how to create the lock it. We can possibly lock it down to where only certain people like group admins share templates to the share all feature. We'll look into that piece there, but whoever creates the template can lock it down to where actually they don't have to do anything. It's already locked down to where only they can edit the document.
Okay. This question is from Andrea Han Matthews. The same as a previous person, our team did not use DocuSign, but considering using esignature for hundreds and hundreds of master services agreements across the country, and for possible study invoices for compensation. Will you be able to help with templates for these master services contracts and amendments? These are all for studies that dentists are considered subcontractors.
Yeah, we'll be glad to help you, get set up with an Adobe Sign and use the e-signature process for that. Just as we said before, just go to uab.edu/e-signature, request assistance, and we'll put in a ServiceNow ticket, and we'll work with you to get the meeting scheduled.
Okay. Can you reiterate how an individual can set up training or a group can set up training?
Yeah. So visit the uab.edu/e-signature, as you can see on the questions part here, and click submit a ticket, put in your information, and we will, as a team, reach out to you to get a meeting scheduled.
Okay, I think that's all for me. That's all I have.
So let's see. I'm gonna stay on until 10 o'clock, unless I start seeing people falling off. But thank you again for attending today. This is a big project for UAB, but we're gonna be glad to get working with your teams to help get the transition going. So again, thank you for joining today. Appreciate all the questions. If you have any questions or outside of this, please submit a ticket to us, and we'll be glad to answer them for you.
Hey, Nick, I have another question.
Okay.
Can teams have multiple admins or just one?
Yes, you can have multiple admins. So,
okay, I have another question.
I'm just going real quick. I'm going to show the team part, which is these groups. So if you're a group admin, you'll have these fields here, and you can look the users and groups, and then you can actually, well, because this is the default group, that's where you'll be able to actually select your group admins for that.
Okay. Can someone be assigned to multiple groups? Did I just ask that question? No.
Yeah, we answered that one. So I think the next question is how many people are on the training transition team. We have 1, 2, 3, 7 people, I believe. I think that's the 1, 2, 7 people on our team to help with this.
Seems like only being in one team could present a workflow problem for others. I'm sorry, for folk in multiple roles. Let me repeat that.
We can discuss that, but if you're in multiple groups and things like that, that to me could cause the workflow issue. That's where you'll see multiple people in a group, and then, so it could mess up the workflow. So we can discuss it and see, but that is a feature within Adobe Sign that is there. So I can always make a case with Adobe Sign as a new feature, but that is the only way we can have it right now. But I kind of see we can discuss that more.
Okay, when will the established templates in DocuSign be transferred to Adobe Sign? I'm sorry.
So anything when we're working with the teams, we'll transition them over. We're working internally as a team. Anything that's been shared or created for everybody within DocuSign, our team will move those files over after we get them approved by the teams that own them, that yes, these are good to go.
Will Adobe Sign be added to the admin systems page?
Yes, it will.
Can the web forms be password protected so not just anyone can access them? And if so, and if a link to a web form is included in an automatic reminder email, would the administrator who receives the email be able to use the password to access the form?
Trying to find that question in here. So
Chat. It's in the chat, not the questions and answers.
I was in chat. Okay. Yep. So web forms can be password protected, and if so, if the link to a web form is included in an automatic reminder, will the administrator who receives the email be able to use the password to access the form? Catherine, we'll discuss that more. I've never actually done that part, so I don't want to answer it incorrectly, but we'll test that out with you, and we'll see exactly how to do that, and we'll post that out. But yes, you can password protect web forms.
When will forms be entered to Adobe Sign for templates such as OSP and financial affairs documents, UAB checklists, etc.?
I think we answered that one directly already, but what it is, we'll work with getting those forms created with the teams, and once they're approved, we'll upload them to Adobe Sign.
Okay, David Childress asked, we have created our own Adobe forms and we are using signature files. Can we convert our current Adobe forms to web forms, and will that be covered in one of the webinars?
David, what I would suggest doing is actually scheduling a meeting directly with us so we can have a more one-on-one session on that for your forms. But yes, it should be able to be converted over.
Jamie White wants to know, can you work with OSP to create smart forms for the extramural checklist in IRAP with pick lists that can be turned into PDFs for Adobe Sign?
Yeah, Jamie, just like I said, go to uab.edu/esignature and submit a ticket. We'll work with your team to get those created. You got about 5 more minutes. If you have any questions, just again, like I said, go to uab.edu/esignature and submit a ticket, and we'll be glad to help you all out. Thank you again for everybody that's watched, and thanks to everybody that's saying thank you in the chat.